Okay, so this was the bombshell news that apparently RFK Jr. was considering dropping out of the race and supporting Trump. So we'll take a look at this video and then have some conversations on that as well. All right. All right, let's take a look.
RFK Jr.'s running mate, Nicole Shanahan, says that their independent presidential campaign is weighing its options this way. Watch.
There's two options that we're looking at, and one is staying in, forming that new party, but we run the risk of a Kamala Harris and Waltz presidency, or we walk away right now and join forces with Donald Trump.
Shanahan said that they're concerned about taking more votes away from Trump and Vance than from Harris and Walz. Trump was asked about a potential.
What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that? As an RFK Jr. supporter, I may have some decisions that I got to make. You know, here I was, I'm supporting RFK Jr. Whether or not it comes out that he has a realistic chance of winning, I don't care. I don't care because I'm thinking about it big picture. I'm thinking about it down the line. We need a third party. There's no checks and balances when it's just the establishment Democratic and Republican parties. We look at this as Democratic and versus Republican. It's really not that. Both parties are controlled. Both parties, the majority of the parties are controlled by the establishment. What do I mean by the establishment? The big money players, the Black Rocks, the people with a lot of money that contribute to their campaigns and that control them like puppets. We need an anti-establishment group that calls out. We need a Tulsi Gabbard. Even if Tulsi Gabbard when it was 2020 and it was all the Democrats that were competing to see who was going to represent the party to go against Trump, we needed Tulsi Gabbard there. Even if she technically did not have a chance, she called out the BS with the other nominees or the other people running for it. System of checks and balances. So when I ask myself, okay, what are you going to do if, RFK ends up dropping out and supporting Trump? Would I vote for Trump? Let's listen to a little bit of the video and then maybe my thoughts will come together on it.
RFK Jr. endorsement and whether he would consider offering Kennedy a spot in his administration if he wins in November. This is what he told our Kristen Holmes.
I like him a lot. I respect him a lot. I probably would if something like that would happen. He's a very different kind of a guy, very smart guy. And yeah, I would be honored by that endorsement.
Honored.
Now, we all know that Trump likes RFK Jr. We heard it on the phone call that was leaked. Everything that Trump has said, I think Trump said, he called him loony, I think, one time when it was like, they were talking about maybe him taking away some of Trump's votes. But everything that Trump has said besides that, before that, after that, he's always shown RFK Jr. a certain level of respect. Just has, at least in the things that I've heard. Trump wants RFK Jr. on his side. Now, it was also reported, I don't know if we believe it or not, but it was reported that that RFK's team had reached out to the Democrats, and the Democrats wanted no parts of it. And then that's when RFK put out a tweet saying like, hey, I have no plans of working with the Democratic Party. At this point, I believe he was still focused on winning the election. He said, the only plan that I have is to beat the Democrats and to win the presidency. I guess a couple days go by and maybe the plans change, or maybe this is specifically his plan to beat the Democrats. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But I have a couple questions that came up with this. And before we continue the video, I want to get some of y'all thoughts, or I want y'all to just put this in your mind a little bit. Okay. So if RFK Jr. and RFK Jr.'s camp did not acknowledge that they reached out to Kamala Harris and the Democrats. They didn't acknowledge that. It had been leaked. I don't think that any Democrats on record have said that, oh yeah, RFK Jr. reached out. But if RFK Jr. is considering working with the Democrats or the Republicans, I would assume he would be considering working with the Democrats. Just is what it is. And I think he put up a tweet saying that, he would work with, whichever party he believes puts the country in the best position to win. The problem with that is that RFK, we needed you for something else. And I'm just talking about it from my perspective. We needed you for something else. We believed in you, bro. We believed in you. We were standing with you. And now if you just align yourself with one of these other parties, we could sit here and say, oh, well, with RFK Jr. as a part of their cabinet, or with RFK Jr. Working with them, then that's a step in the right direction. I disagree. At least right now, I disagree. It's just, you want to know why? Because just like they did not let RFK Jr., they went through all these different obstacles of preventing you from running with them, from giving you a fair shake at becoming the Democratic nominee. The money is too much it's too much money and power that the people who control the Democratic Party, the people that control the politicians, the people that have the politicians on strings like the puppet master, they're too big and too powerful to ever allow a guy like RFK Jr. to make a significant impact. And even if, let me ask y'all this, even if RFK Jr., matter of fact, where's the tweet that RFK Jr. put out? Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I think it was in a different video. But RFK Jr., let me go on X. So I can actually just pull up the tweet that RFK Jr. put out. Hold on, bear with me. I wasn't going to do this. Robert F. Kennedy. Let's see if we can find this. Okay, here we go. All right, so I want to see this tweet that he put out. America, Civil War right now, independent, my father. Hold on one second. Oh, come on. He tweets a lot. Okay. Let me share this with you. Let me share this tweet with y'all real quick, and then we'll come back to this video. Okay, so RFK Jr. put out this August 20th. What is that, a couple days ago? 2 days ago. And he wrote, hold on, let me share it with y'all so y'all can see it as well, so y'all know I ain't manipulating it. Ooh, Queens, don't do it, Queens. I see the comment. Hold on. So RFK Jr. in this tweet wrote, as always, I am willing to talk with leaders of any political party to further the goals I've served for 40 years in my career and in this campaign. These are reversing the chronic disease epidemic, ending the war machine, cleaning corporate influence out of government and toxic pollution out of the environment, protecting freedom of speech, and ending politicization of enforcement agencies, CIA, FBI, all that. Okay. RFK Jr. Even if RFK Jr. was able to work with either the Democrats or Republicans and help with some of these issues, would it be worth it? For one, do we even think that he would actually be able to help with some of the issues? When I look at reversing the chronic disease epidemic, you're not doing that if you work with the Democrats. I'm not sure. I think the FDA is more aligned with the Democrats. They may be aligned with the Republicans as well. So let's throw that in there for both. The Food and Drug Administration, which, think about it, the Food and Drug Administration. So the food, right? We've talked about this before. The poison that they give us in food that causes diseases, they're a part of the organization, the Food and Drug. Now, the drug aspect of it, now that the food causes all the diseases, now we have some drugs that mimic nature, but don't do the natural sources. Just do our drugs that we've created in the lab that mimic the actual nature. So let's not, have them take soursop. Let's not have them take sea moss. We got these pills. These pills are better, and we can make a lot more money off them. Do you really think that they're going to allow you to reverse the chronic disease epidemic and pretty much destroy their industry? Don't see that happening. Ending the war machine. A lot of money in war. Don't see that happening. I'll say the Democratic Party used to be the party of less war, right? But now it seems like both parties are okay with war. It seems like both are. Cleaning corporate influence out of government. And so let's talk about this first aspect. Cleaning corporate influence out of the government. If you work with the Democrats or Republicans, that's not happening. We already talked about how Trump was the anti-establishment guy, but now that he's received a certain bag of money, you got to do what those people ask you to do. We know that that's the case with the Democrats. We know that that's the case. It wasn't the case with Trump when he was first running because just people didn't, they didn't want to support him. They didn't believe in him for whatever reason. He just didn't raise the amount of money that other candidates have raised. So you're not doing that. You're not going into somebody, just like Darren Orlovsky is not going into ESPN and saying, yo, actually, we're going to change this. Actually, the company, your principles are going to make sure that they align with my principles as the employee. Not happening. Not happening. The person who has the bag, they set the rules. They set the agenda. They set the terms. It just is what it is if we allow them to. Toxic pollution out of the environment, not happening. People make too much money off the environment being toxic. In my opinion, I don't know. The environment, I'm not as familiar with that. Protecting freedom of speech, okay. Ending politicization of enforcement agencies. I don't see that happening. We already saw how the CIA helped out, the Democrats. I believe there's somebody that helped out that hurt Hillary's chances as well on the Republican side. Was it Comey? I forget Comey, when he put out something late that with Hillary, he put out something that right before that election that hurt her, I believe, as well. So I want to make it very clear that it's both. Both sides use the agencies, and the agencies are going to be, let's just be real. These agencies, they're people. They're people. So just like you talk to a regular person on the street and you ask them what their political views are, and compared to maybe 50 years ago, now you ask somebody and they'll be passionate. Of course I'm voting for Kamala. Of course I'm voting for Trump. Where 50 years ago, it may have been a little bit different. So why do we think that the CIA people, because we just hold them in higher regards, that they're able to remove, how they think about things and just, approach things from an objective standpoint? It's not happening. This is why they take so much time when it comes to juror selection, selecting a jury, because they know that certain people are going to have certain biases that do not allow them to be objective one way or another. So therefore, it's the same thing with people. People are people. So I don't think he's going to make any impact with preventing the politicization of enforcement agencies if he's aligned with either party. I just thought that, in my opinion, he's either got to do it by himself or it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. And hold on. Let me make sure that I'm keeping up with these comments. So Lucille wrote, "We are living in a war surrounded by narcissists who want to stand in power to control us and take from us what is rightfully ours. And now we got to take back what belongs to us. Let's stand on it, Lucille." So Queez wrote, "Damn," with the RFK news. And he wrote, "Dak, is that like Dion going to Colorado?" Damn, Queez always hit me with him. Like, yo, this is like Dion going to Colorado. At least in the way that I'm thinking about it right now. And Dion, people may not be familiar. Dion was at a HBCU, said that his plans and his goals that God sent him to build up the HBCUs so the HBCUs can compete on a level with some of the other colleges that they call PW, predominantly white institutions, whatever. Then Dion got offered a bag of money from Colorado, maybe the least the least black people, I think, of any other college maybe that he could have been considering, Colorado. So he went from God sent me to uplift the HBCUs and get them to a level to compete at the level for national championships like a Bama and all this other stuff. And then he got a bag dangled in front of him. And he went with the whitest of the PWIs, at least I remember looking at the stats. I don't know if it is technically the whitest, but there's just not a lot of black people there. It is what it is. I'm not saying that should make your decision. If there's no black people there, but when you say that this is your goal to uplift HBCUs to reach the standard to where they can compete, with some of the PWIs, it's not consistent. It's like you can't do that at a Colorado. RFK Jr., all the things that you've been saying that you want to do, that we've aligned with, that we get behind, that we're passionate about, you can't do that if you're a part of those other parties, in my opinion. Y'all tell me. Maybe y'all think that he can. Maybe y'all think that he can. So let's listen to a couple more minutes, and then maybe I'll tell y'all what I'm gonna do if he ends up endorsing Trump. Oh, sorry. I had
Concern
it
from his
playing.
family was
Why y'all ain't
is
tell me
that
the
he was
video
going to get
wasn't
Donald Trump
playing?
elected by doing this.
Hold on, my fault. I wasn't sharing it. Let me go back a little bit. I'm sitting back thinking y'all can hear.
Yeah, I would be honored by that endorsement.
Honored by that endorsement. Alex, I mean, they seem to say the quiet part out loud here, at least Nicole Shanahan did. Like, well, we're concerned there's a risk that we might actually elect Harris and Walz, which, you know, I interviewed RFK Jr. and the concern from his family was
We'll see you, Queez. Appreciate you tapping in. We getting ready to get out of here anyway.
is that he was going to get Donald Trump elected by doing this. And he's been trying to insist, no, it's really about me. It's about the fact that I should be president. But how do you think, I mean, he's also clearly playing both sides here. He's gone to the Harris team as well behind the scenes. The Harris team has not responded publicly. What's he playing at and what impact does it have?
I mean, I think he's playing at staying relevant after this election. And the way you do that is you get a job in the next administration, which is why he was trying to meet with both sides. Now, Kamala Harris's team has made clear, no, we don't want this. And Trump has been quietly and behind the scenes trying to court RFK Jr.
So let me ask y'all this question, because he just reminded me of one that I had on my notes. If you are a Democrat, if you voted Democrat in the past, or if you're considering voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, let me ask you a question. When they turned down meeting with RFK and considering, you know, what it would take to get his support, how do y'all feel about that? Because clearly there's a good amount of people that like RFK Jr. that I would say maybe more even come from the Democratic Party. Maybe a lot of the people that like RFK Jr., I would say that a lot of them, maybe from both, but I would say that a lot of them actually come from the Democratic Party. Now, they may be people that dislike the Democratic Party right now, but I would say that a lot of them come from that party. I'm one of them. I've never voted Republican, but I can't stand the Democrats right now. It just is what it is, based on the things that they've done. Nothing, and I could say nothing personal. It is personal, but it's just based on what they've actually done, how they've lied to us. They haven't done anything. Just is what it is. Even from you remove all emotion out of it. You can't tell me that you're going to do something, not do it over and over and expect me to continue supporting you. So my question would be, is Kamala Harris, is Tim Walz, are they putting their pride and what they want above what the actual people, what we the people want, right? Because there's a lot of Democrats, there's a lot of people that do like RFK Jr., that do align with the things that I put on the screen that he is looking to make an impact in. There's a lot of people that care about, hey, we got this chronic disease crisis. Hey, we're tired of going to wars. Hey, we don't want to see these agencies being used by these political parties. Hey, we don't like all this pollution in the environment. Hey, we don't like the culture of politics overall right now. There's a lot of people that align with RFK Jr. So don't Kamala, Tim Walz, and the Democratic Party, they owe it to their party, the people, you all, the people that are supporting them, the people that they're asking to support them, don't they owe it to you all to take a meeting with RFK Jr.? Putting their pride to the side, right? Because it's not about what Kamala wants. It's not about what Tim Walz wants. It's not about what Trump wants. That's why we liked RFK in the first place, because it didn't seem like it was about what he in particular wanted. He was prioritizing what he thought was best for the overall country. That's why the things that he puts up there, if you go back to the things that RFK Jr. was standing on, I'll read it again. Reversing the chronic disease epidemic. That's something that everybody would want to do, right? That's not a Democrat or Republican. Like, yo, there's too many people having disease out here. Can we address that? ending the war machine. Unless you're just a lunatic, then I would assume that you would want to live in a world where there's less wars. Right? Like, that's just, is that an acceptable thing? Cleaning corporate influence out of the government. Unless you're the corporate unless you're the corporation that benefits from the corporate influence over the government, everybody outside of that, that's perfectly understandable to say, like, hey, we want to get rid of the corporations controlling the government and actually have we the people control the government, right? Have the government officials work for us, not work for the big corporations. That's understandable, right? When you talk about toxic pollution out of the environment, that's understandable. Who's going to sit here and say, no, I think the environment should be more toxic, more polluted? Doesn't make any sense. Protecting freedom of speech. What's so funny is that used to be like, it's almost like one day it's a Democrats are pushing for it. The next day Republicans are pushing for it. It's more so based on, well, we protect freedom of speech based on whether or not you agree with me or not. So I think both parties actually push for freedom of speech. They do it based on, whether or not you agree with us. But actually we the people, we want freedom of speech. We do not want Twitter flagging posts and not allowing professionals to give their opinion on a 2020 situation, where Twitter is saying that, hey, if you disagree with what Fauci said, then we're gonna ban your post. We want that freedom of speech, right? We want that transparency, so therefore we can make the best decisions for us and our families. Ending politicization of enforcement agencies. Like, I'm pretty sure that most logical people would be okay with that. So when you look at all the things that RFK Jr. wants to target, they're not Democratic or Republican issues. They're American issues. So when I ask, it's like, how could any party not meet with RFK Jr.? But this is the same thing that happened with Ice Cube, right? When Ice Cube put together the Plan for Black America, the Democrats didn't want to meet with him. Trump did, but the Democrats didn't. Before the election, I should say. So I have to ask the same question. Don't they owe it to the people that they support to entertain RFK Jr.? I would be very upset if my party did not agree to meet with RFK Jr., especially if it leads to your party not even winning. And let me be very clear. The reason why I said what RFK Jr. Now you shouldn't be willing to meet with somebody that if they don't necessarily align with your principles and values. But that's the reason why I just read the goals of RFK Jr. Based on his goals, which if a party doesn't agree with his principles and values, then maybe that's an alert or a red flag for the party that we're supporting. If a party does not want to do the things that RFK Jr. just put out there that he wants to do, then maybe we should reconsider whether or not these parties have our best interests at heart. So let me get to Rhonda's comment. Rhonda wrote, they like to get different groups pissed off at each other by giving to some so that people can be divided. I'm noticing that, Rhonda, and I'm noticing it. I mean, obviously we always noticed it, crab in the barrel mentality. But what I'm noticing is that there's a select group of people in power. And maybe it's just the same thing, actually, what I'm noticing. Same thing. But I'm just realizing more and more that the goal is for the people in power they don't want any attention. They don't want any light on them, right? They just want to, hey, we just want to be in power. And then we'll throw certain stuff out there to let them bicker about all that dumb stuff that doesn't matter. But it'll distract us. It'll distract them from actually understanding who's in power and actually who's keeping them down. They'll fight against each other when in all actuality, both people are suffering. Both people are suffering. You'll have the most extreme MAGA people that may be in impoverished situations and in a lot of ways may benefit from policies that the wealthy Republicans don't benefit or the people that are impoverished in the MAGA community may benefit from some of these other policies that the elites in their party don't benefit from. And a lot of people on the other side, when we look at the impoverished communities that continue to support the Democratic Party, maybe they would benefit a little bit from some of the other parts. So people are benefiting from different things. And then maybe both impoverished communities should come together rather than fighting against each other. Rather than the impoverished communities or the people that, let's just say, have less, being the main people that are going to be at the front line, right? The front line people are the disposable people, right? So they put these people in the front line, so the front line MAGA competing against the front line Democrats. And now they're going against each other, while in all actuality, they have more in common than the elites, you know what I'm saying, in their own parties. So hopefully I'm saying that right. Let's keep going a little bit with this video, and then we're going to make our way out of here after a couple more minutes. So let's see what they finish up with.
For over a month now, and even like the team even sort of courting him for a bit. And if he does drop out and endorse Donald Trump, you know, that is not a huge portion of the vote, but it's part of it, and it could actually make a difference. And in some ways, this could be the Democratic Party almost doing too good of a job against RFK Jr., where they no longer see a path. They have been very aggressive at challenging his ballot access in every single state, filing lots of lawsuits, to the point that RFK Jr. may no longer see a path and say, well, if I want to try to stay relevant after Election Day, then I'm going to back Trump.
I think this is also a reflection of the fact that since Kamala Harris has gone to the top of the ticket, the share of the double hater voters who were potentially going to swing this election, and may still, but has shrunk significantly. So I think in some ways this is also just a testament to the reality of the shifting dynamics of this election. Now that there is so much more enthusiasm and interest in her, people view her as a change candidate. They're not looking for this alternative. But I would also say that this is also.
All right, enough of that. Enough of that. Let me move that off the screen. So this is the last thing that I wanted to talk to y'all about. So I saw an article. Well, first off, do I have a snippet from this song? I believe RFK Jr. came out with a song. I believe, who was it? Is it Kodak and Fabio? Hold on. I think I actually already have it saved. Let me see if I already have it saved. Let's see. Where is this Kodak? Boom. I got it right here. Hold on. Hold on. Let me play this little snippet. Hopefully they don't flag it. Hopefully they don't flag it. So this is a song that Kodak Black and Fabio made in support of Trump, I believe. Now, if you